Most young men think they need to completely overhaul their life to get healthier, when sometimes the first thing they really need to do is just look at what they're drinking. Because I think a lot of people underestimate this. They focus on food, they focus on workouts, they focus on some new plan they've seen online. But all day long, they're pouring rubbish into their body and somehow acting surprised when they feel tired, foggy, and steadily heavier. Hi, I'm John. I'm a dad of two boys, and I spend a lot of time thinking about life, what matters, what doesn't, and how to give my boys the best chance of building a healthy, solid future. And this is one of those topics that's really close to my heart, because I look around and I see so many people, and plenty of young men especially, constantly reaching for bottled drinks that are absolutely awful for them, when all they really need, most of the time, is water. Not something bright blue, not something glowing in a bottle like it was made in a laboratory on another planet. Just water. And I know that sounds boring. Water doesn't have a great marketing team. No one opens a fridge, sees a bottle of water, and thinks, well, this is exciting. But that's partly the problem. We've got so used to treating drinks as entertainment, as flavor, as comfort, as a little reward, that we forget what drinking is mainly supposed to do in the first place. It's supposed to hydrate you. Your body needs water to work properly. Water makes up roughly 50% to 65% of body weight, and your cells, tissues, and organs need it to function as they should. That's not a small detail. That's not some niche health fact. That's basic human operating system stuff. So when you regularly choose drinks loaded with sugar instead of water, you are making life harder for yourself. And I think this is one of the most overlooked reasons a lot of young men feel rough all day. Low energy, brain fog, weight creeping up, constant cravings, feeling a bit flat, and then trying to solve it with another drink, which often makes the whole thing worse. Now, just to be clear, I'm not saying the only drink you're ever allowed to enjoy is water. That would be miserable, and also slightly unhinged. Tea can be fine. Coffee can be fine. Milk can be fine. The NHS includes water, lower-fat milk, and lower-sugar drinks like tea and coffee among healthier choices. So this isn't me saying you must become some monk who only drinks pure mountain spring water from a wooden cup. I'm saying water should be your default, your go-to, your normal drink through the day. And the closer a drink is to plain water, generally speaking, the better off you usually are. Because once you start moving into sugary fizzy drinks, energy drinks, sugary juices, and all the rest of it, you are no longer just drinking for hydration. You are drinking calories, sugar, and often a load of stuff your body doesn't need. And the worst part is, liquid sugar is incredibly easy to consume. You can drink a lot of it very quickly and not feel full. That's a terrible combination. Sugary drinks are leading sources of added sugar, and regularly drinking them is associated with weight gain, obesity, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, gout, tooth decay, and non-alcoholic liver disease. So when I say young men should avoid sugary drinks like the plague, I'm not being dramatic for effect. I'm saying this because they're one of the easiest ways to quietly wreck your health and make fat gain much easier. And they're sneaky because people don't always think of them as food, but your body absolutely counts them. You don't get to drink 6 cans of sugar and then say, well, technically I haven't eaten much. That's not how this works. And if you want to lose weight, or even just stop gaining it, the first place I would look is what you drink. Not the last place, the first place. Because if someone cuts out sugary drinks and replaces them with water, they've often made a very significant improvement before they've changed anything else. Replacing sugary drinks with water or other lower sugar options is widely recommended as a practical weight control step. And, I think this is one of those areas where people make life harder than it needs to be. They'll spend ages debating the perfect diet and then still drink something that looks like melted sweets twice a day. You don't need to overcomplicate this. Start with the obvious. What am I drinking all day? How much of it is actually helping me? How much of it is just there because it tastes nice? And look, taste matters. I'm not pretending taste doesn't matter. If taste didn't matter, half the food industry would vanish overnight. But if a drink is mainly just a treat for your taste buds, then call it that. Treat it like a treat. Don't pretend it's normal fuel, because it isn't. The normal drink your body is built to run on is water. That's the boring truth. And boring truths are often the ones that help the most. Now, some young men will say, all right then, I'll just drink sugar-free fizzy drinks all day. And I understand the logic. They're definitely better than full sugar versions if the comparison is purely about sugar and calories. The NHS says low or no calorie sweeteners can help lower energy intake when used instead of sugary drinks, especially in the short term. But I still wouldn't make them your main drink. Why? Because they keep your taste buds used to everything being sweet all the time. They keep that habit alive. And a lot of them are still acidic, which is not great for your teeth. The NHS notes that evidence on sweeteners and health is mixed overall, and that even sugar-free fizzy drinks can contribute to dental erosion because of their acidity. So I think of those drinks more as a stepping stone than a destination. Better than pouring sugar into yourself all day, but still not the same as water. Still not ideal as your main drink from morning to night. And then there's juice. A lot of people think juice is healthy just because it started life as fruit. But in practice, it can still be a very sugary drink. The NHS says fruit juice and smoothies should be limited to one small 150 milliliter glass a day and had with a meal because they are high in sugar. So again, this isn't about being extreme, it's about being honest. Water for most of the day. Tea, coffee, milk, fine in sensible amounts. Sugary drinks, rare. Diet fizzy drinks, may be useful for transition, but not your ideal baseline. That's a pretty sensible hierarchy. And, one thing I think is worth saying as well is this. A lot of young men don't realize how much better they actually feel when they're properly hydrated. Because if you're underhydrated all day, you might just think that sluggish feeling is normal. That slightly dry, heavy, headachy, low-energy feeling can become background noise. And then you drink water properly for a few days and realize, oh, right, I'm supposed to feel more alive than this. That matters, because how you feel physically affects everything else. Your concentration, your mood, your training, your work, your patience, your appetite. And if your body is mostly water, then treating hydration like an afterthought is a bit mad, really. It's a bit like trying to run a car properly and then acting surprised when you barely put any fuel in it. And yes, before anyone says it, I know a car is not the same as a human body, but you get the point. You need the basics in place, and water is one of the basics. Now, I also want to mention alcohol briefly, because it belongs in this conversation, even though it deserves its own video, really. Alcohol is not helping your hydration. It adds calories. It can make sleep worse. It can make your food choices worse. And it often comes with mixers and extra rubbish anyway. So if you're trying to get healthier, lose weight, or just feel sharper, alcohol is absolutely worth looking at too. But I'll leave that as its own bigger subject. For this video, the main point is simpler. If you want to improve your health, improve your hydration, and make weight loss easier, start with what you drink. Not with some complicated theory, not with some dramatic life reset, just with the thing you put in your hand several times a day. And if my boys ever watch this one day, I hope they understand this early. I hope they understand that a lot of health problems don't start with some huge decision. They start with small daily habits that quietly stack up. And drinks are one of the easiest habits to change. So I'd want them to know this. Make water your normal drink. Treat sugary drinks as rare. Don't be fooled into thinking liquid sugar is harmless just because it goes down easily. And don't build your whole day around flavor and stimulation. Your body needs hydration more than your taste buds need entertainment. That's not a glamorous message, but it's a useful one. And useful matters. All right, that's what I've been thinking about. I'll see you in the next one.